Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus-Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, cyrus-webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. We're glad you all could be with us. Also, those joining us through our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcasts. Glad you all could be with us as well. I'm excited to welcome to our program for the first time Marshall Morris. We're going to talk to Marshall not only about what it's been like for him as an entrepreneur to do work that he loves, but also be able to find the success he has along the way. Marshall is also an Army veteran. We're going to talk to him about how that has helped him in business, especially when it comes to his newest venture that you guys have gotten to know him for, that being iHeartDogs.com. If you guys are not following Marshall online, of course, we'll let you guys know where to find him and, of course, iHeartDogs as well. But, Marshall, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Excited to be here.
So, Marshall, a lot for us to talk about here, and I love the fact when I was prepping for your segment, I mean, so much of it is based on what you've been able to learn from your training, but also just in life. I want to talk about success for a moment. What has it been like for you to kind of reflect on what you've been able to achieve up until this point?
That's a great question. I would say that when I look back, what I consider the most successful is being able to build a team of amazing people and do things that change the world. And if you can do that and make money doing it, I think there's nothing better. So I look at success as the relationships that we've been able to build and the people we've been able to help.
Right. Well, I think, that is the amazing thing. I think, too, one of the things I noticed, Marshall, with you is that you have been able to, yes, see the hard work paying off for you, but also see the impact you've had on others, not just, of course, on those that you've been able to work with, but also your customers, too, especially when it comes to something like Our Heart Dogs, because, people love their animals, right? So it's great to be able to provide something that helps them to celebrate them. Did you always know that you were a person of service, I guess would be my question, because not only, of course, what you've done as far as your service in the military, but also your service as an entrepreneur, too.
I did, and, that was ingrained in me from my grandfather. So, I remember he would always go the extra mile to let people know he was thankful for their service and to serve them. Even when we went to dinner, he would take time to write a note on the check telling them that he was thankful for their time and their service, and he appreciated them. And so that I just grew up with that, and I think that became my ethos. And so certainly I think that as I've moved into different levels of service, I've just kept that core component, of being able, of wanting to serve and looking for places to serve.
Right. And you've been able to do it in other businesses even before I Heart Dogs. But, being an entrepreneur is not easy. Of course, I think a lot of people realize that in 2020 when so many tried to make that pivot, to be able to find something new. What was that transition like for you, Marshall, to be able to say that, you wanted to provide a service and you were willing to step out on your own to do it?
Yeah, so first of all, I think having a supportive spouse was such a big thing. My wife is a big supporter. When she married an entrepreneur, she may not have known what she'd gotten into, but she's been an amazing support. So I think the people around you are extremely important in supporting that dream. And I think that the people that you build your business with will become critical to the success of it. So surrounding yourself with the right people that have the right mindset, that can see your vision and are willing to kind of come alongside you was critically important. And it was scary. There's been times where I've struggled with anxiety or just depression, just these weird things as you're trying to build this because you feel like it's all on you. But also there's times when you're able to overcome and persevere and then celebrate that in a different way too.
I mentioned to you before we began the segment, Marshall, one of the things I want to talk about is partnerships and association. And that's one of the things I've been talking about more with my guests lately because I'm a firm believer from my own experience and what I've seen from others is that we truly are the sum of what we choose when it comes to people we associate with, what we take in. How has that lesson helped you in your life, professionally as well as personally, to kind of be aware of not only, of course, those you're inviting in, but also what you're giving out?
I would say that is the factor that has created the most opportunity and happiness in my life is the people that I surround myself with, by far, in business or the other way around. There is a saying that a man once told me, that you can't soar with the eagles if you're running with the turkeys. And I remember that. And so I got to a point where, I was intentionally saying, who do I want to be around? Who do I need to be around, right? Who can I serve? Who can I compliment? Who can I learn from? And when I give talks to masterminds of business owners who are running multi-million-dollar businesses, that is the one thing I make sure I always cover is your network, and those people around you are one of the most important things that you can ever intentionally develop is your network and your relationships there.
So true, and it's a great reminder, I think, for all of us. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome Marshall Morris to our program today. Marshall is not only a serial entrepreneur, but also the founder of I Heart Dogs. We're about to talk more of that, iHeartDogs.com. But also he's an Army veteran as well. So, Marshall, you had other businesses you'd done before iHeartDogs.com. Where did the idea for this particular business come from?
My network. We're talking about network. I actually met a brilliant online marketer. His name is Justin Palmer. He's my partner in this, and he's one of the most tactical guys I've ever met. Amazing decision maker. And so when I connected with him, I'm more of the vision guy, right? And I just felt it. We were looking at this like, hey, there's people that are connecting online through social. And they're loving this conversation around their dogs. It's creating a community that's uniting people of different backgrounds and different beliefs, which we loved, right? And I just got this feeling like there's something big here. And so I said, let's find a way to serve them in a way that takes this business to the next level. And so from that point on, we started building products and services, and really right now we're a pet health company with a purpose. And so not only do we make amazing products and services for pets and their owners, we are helping dogs in shelters in huge ways to help to find their forever homes too. So we're kind of working. So everything we do has a very clear impact in the world, and it just kind of taken life of its own. Since we have 60 team members that are all aligned, and we're all really excited to change the world.
So let's talk about the giving back aspect. I did notice that when I was on the website, again, it's iHeartDogs.com. One of the things that you did, one of the sections that you have there on the site, Marshall, is about pets and vets. And again, it goes back to the giving back part. Is that one of the blessings for you to be an entrepreneur, to be able to not only, as I said earlier, to find success, but to know that you're making a difference in the lives of others as well?
Oh, absolutely. And where that came from was when I was in basic training when 9/11 happened, and so literally we're this holding time where you can't communicate to anyone, like you're just literally on base. And there was something that people were like, something happened in New York, and I'm from New York. Something happened in New York, and everything changed. And I got deployed to New York City to support flying supplies. A lot of my friends went overseas, and they came back with PTSD. And we've seen and they just struggle with their families and just struggling with this. And so I said, what can I do? They chose for me to stay here. So how can I serve those that actually were that went over? So one thing we've seen amazing, just the closest thing to a miracle we've ever seen is when you pair a veteran with PTSD with a trained service animal. The change is incredible. They get their life back. They get their families back. All that. So we said, okay, where do they get that? Well, there's no resources. So we decided at that point in time, we are going to fund that. So we create a program where we sell military-themed pet apparel and pet supplies, and that program then goes to fully fund, so the veteran pays zero cost out of pocket, and they get a service animal that's trained for them to help their lives moving forward. So for me, that's there's nothing better. I mean, that program is a big part of my belief system, and I absolutely love what we're doing there.
Yeah. And I think, too, knowing that you're making a difference and providing a great product is a great thing. You mentioned PTSD, Marshall. I can't have this conversation with you without talking about mental health because it is such a big deal, especially after the year that we just went through with 2020 and so many people trying to make this year better. What helps you in that regard? I mean, being an entrepreneur is not easy. I think a lot of people look at the glamorous part and they think, oh, you're able to do X, Y, or Z. But how do you do it? How do you protect your mental health as you're building your business and your brand?
Oh, it's so great. That's a great question. I think that is such a timely question for all of us. For me, so when you pursue something, whether it's a business or any initiative, right, and part of it has a component where you can actually give back in meaningful, authentic ways. It gives you fuel to get through those moments. So there are times where, you're at home and, there's like, we're building a business online in an environment that's always changing, in a political climate that seems to be always changing, right? So there's a lot of variables. And as a business owner with 60 employees who want to keep them employed, you're weighing options, all the time. Like, should we do this? Should we do that? But at the end of the day, there's a lot of stress and turmoil in those decisions. But when I go down and say, wow, and I can read the testimonies, people are saying, thank you for making my life better. Thank you for helping my pet age well. Thank you for, this is my support companion, right? And now I know that they're having a better quality of life with me at home while we're doing this together. That keeps me going. So I think that really that component for me lifts my spirits, right? And keeps me going, knowing that I'm making an impact and seeing that impact in people's lives. So for me, that's what keeps us going. I think our whole team, so we celebrate that. Our customers are called heroes because they partner with us to change the world. And so I think that itself has been a huge mental health boost to us. So we're just trying to stay positive in those places as we kind of figure out how to move forward.
I think that's so great. I mean, and moving forward, I think it's something all of us can benefit from. Last thing I have for you, Marshall, then we're going to let our audience know how they can stay connected with you, is what advice do you have for someone who maybe they think this is their year to start that business that they've been wanting to do? I mean, if you could give some advice, where would you advise that they start? It's a great question. I'd say do it. If you try to solve a problem that you uniquely understand, and find a way to give back in that. So if you're a caterer and you're like, wow, restaurants have been decimated. Well, I'm going to I love cooking. Find a way to serve people in that, and find a way to change, to give back in that too. So I would say now is definitely the year. The greatest businesses that come out, the greatest struggles in history. So I would say it's your year, and it's time. And you want to build something that really excites you and gives you energy. So make sure that it's not just for money. It's actually, because that'll come if you pour yourself into it and you're passionate about it. What a great point, and I hope our audience takes that in. Again, everyone, Marshall Morris has been our guest. He's the founder of iHeartDogs.com. I invite you guys to visit the site. Once you visit the site, you'll see their social media at the very bottom of the page, so make sure you guys are staying connected with them there. And Marshall, is that the best place for them to stay connected with you as well? Yeah,
we're on Instagram at iHeartDogs.com, also on Facebook as well. And those are two places we're having a lot of fun. You can see me and our dogs and all those customers that we're having fun with. And we'd love for you to be part of the community. So you can check us out there.
Marshall, thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it, and looking forward to having you back on the program again.
Thank you. Anytime. We appreciate it.
And definitely want to thank our mutual friend, Zach Tepperman, for setting up this chat with us for today, and thank all of you, our audience, for tuning in, both on the radio dial and online, to another episode of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus-Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's make it a great one.